The movie Green Book is up for 5 Oscars this weekend, including Best Picture.
It tells the story of an African-American musician who hires an Italian-American bouncer to take him across the country for his performances. It's set in the era when race relations were in a very bad place.
The Green Book is an actual book filled with the names and addresses of safe places where African-Americans could stay or businesses where they would be welcomed on their travels. That book is now also the subject of a true documentary called The Green Book, Guide to Freedom, that airs next week on the Smithsonian Channel. Take a look.
Very bad things happen to African Americans. Going down a dark country road, there was a sense of apprehension. You could actually be lynched.
Smithsonian Channel presents the real story behind the book.
The Green Book was a way to understand how you could get from A to B safely.
That became a roadmap.
Right when you open up, it says, know your rights, and it goes state by state.
For some of the most significant people, successful businesses, and most important political milestones of the 20th century.
Kelli Herod is the Vice President of Post-Production for the Smithsonian Channel. She will be a panelist at a special screening tonight of this documentary at the Amistad Center for Art and Culture in Hartford. I'm looking forward to moderating that discussion tonight and had the opportunity to see the film. You know, it's really enlightening. I don't think before the movie came out or before this documentary, I don't know that a lot of us were aware what the Green Book was. Can you tell us what the Green Book is?
Yes, absolutely. And going back to your intro, which was great, it was a guide for African Americans to use during the Jim Crow era. So it's segregated America. A lot of businesses could not, they weren't letting in blacks and their families to actually patronize their businesses. So when blacks are on the road, they need places to, use the restroom or stop overnight. And yeah,
it's not that long ago in American history.
Yeah, this was published. It started publishing in 1936 through 1967. Victor Hugo Green, which is like my favorite middle name, Victor Hugo Green.
Yeah.
He started publishing this book as a postal worker himself. He was married to a woman named Alma who lived in Richmond, Virginia. So you can imagine traveling down the eastern seaboard to Richmond, he would have to find places to stop or stay overnight. And having that issue, having those challenges, he wanted to really find a solution for that. So in creating the Green Book, he really found a solution for all African Americans to travel safely, throughout the country, not just in the South, but throughout the entire country.
The movie's getting a lot of buzz. Some criticism also that maybe it's not quite as accurate as it needs to be. That's a drama, but what we're going to see on the Smithsonian Channel is accurate. And in fact, you have loads, reams and reams of home video. How did you get all that home video?
Yes, the very rare home footage, which I'm so glad you brought that up. It's really, the director, Yoruba Richin, really dove into the archives at the National Museum for African American History and Culture on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. And they have a great project, which is called the Great Migration Home Movie Project, where families can bring, you can bring your VHSs, your little digital high-8 tapes. They'll transfer them for free. They'll give you the materials back, and it will actually live in the archive there. So Yoruba was actually able to dive in and use that archive and get actual, home footage, and it's gorgeous footage, as you'll see, just Black families on the beach, at the pool, that kind of quintessential shot of, line the family up and take a picture next to the family car, that kind of thing, which sadly, it's rare that we see that. We're so used to seeing kind of the normal images of the civil rights movement or even Jim Crow, the attack dogs and water cannons and things like that. So this footage is, just as important, if not more important, to really see that.
Where was it a secret thing, the Green Book, or was it published for sale at stores, or how did it work?
Yes, it was published for sale, and actually the Esso gas company distributed it in their gas station. So it was available for purchase, and it was a real necessity for, Black families that are getting on the road. They need to know where to go, to stop and be safe on the road.
Which I thought was interesting. It also brought up just an economic perspective that I didn't realize, but it said because of the auto industry growth in Detroit, all of a sudden Black families had discretionary income. They wanted to go on vacation. They wanted to enjoy tourist sites, but they couldn't with fear of what might happen to their children. So it was also an economic initiative to publish this because businesses started thriving by targeting and marketing to these families.
Absolutely. And I think in the film, a lot of the subject matter brings up just the building of the middle class for African Americans. It really is that. It's building the African American community and making sure that African Americans could partake in what was, the American dream, buying a car, getting out on the road, and, partaking in that, which is really important.
I just think that the whole story is amazing, and that they came out But I thought that the Green Book had come out and then it spawned the movie, but you said yet it was just coincidence that the two came out separately.
Yeah, they were independent of each other, and it really started a couple years ago. It was kind of already in our brains at Smithsonian Channel, and the British production company that produced the film approached us a couple years ago and said, oh, we want to do a Green Book film as well. And then shortly after that, Marquette Foley, who's also in the film, she's with Sites, which is the Smithsonian Institution's traveling exhibition service, and they basically take exhibitions all over the country. She was working on a Green Book exhibition with curator Candace Taylor, who's also in the film, and she is one of the leading Green Book historians. So all of these people kind of coming together, swimming around, ideas swimming around at the same time, and kind of congealed. From there, Yoruba Richin, the director, came aboard with Impossible Factual. So it
meant to be. Time to tell the story of the Green Book.
I just want to have a drink with you.
You can do that.
Can we do that? How do we do that?
She's in town for a little bit.
Okay, good.
And it'll be interesting for those who are coming to the screening tonight, but for the rest of people at home, if you want to watch this, the Green Book Guide to Freedom premieres Monday, February 25th at 8 p.m. on the Smithsonian Channel. It's a 50-minute documentary, so it's not too long. You can watch it with your kids. It's really interesting and an important film to see.
Thank you, Kelli.
So, thank you.